And this building's the one right behind it from 40 years earlier. Now coming into view, the beautiful neo-Gothic Tribune Tower from 1925. Now back in 1922, the paper sponsored an international architectural competition. Grand prize, 50 grand to any architect that could design the world's most beautiful building. Over 250 entries, that design won. Submitted by two New York architects, John Mead Howe and Raymond Hood. Raymond Hood went on to help design Rockefeller Center. As we near Michigan Avenue here to our right, the elegant white glazed terracotta-clad Wrigley Building. The section on the river is 1921, northern half 1924. Spanish revivalist design with some French Renaissance elements. It's clad with 6 different shades of white glazed terracotta, which is fireproof baked clay. This is the building chewing gum built, designed by Graham Anderson Probst and White. Currently, the architecture firm of Perkins and Will calls this building home. The tall reflective glass building directly here in front of us with a needle-like spire on top is currently Chicago's second tallest building. The height does include the very top and tip of the spire. If you don't have on sunglasses, do watch your eyes. The reflection can be blinding. Trump International Hotel and Tower, completed back in 2009, designed by Adrian Smith, formerly of Skidmore, Owings & Merrill. As the building itself ascends in height, you have setbacks to different levels that relate to the roof lines of surrounding buildings. First setback to the roof line of Wrigley. Second setback to a building across the river. Third setback to the building right next door. Now, personally, in this area, I do love the color, texture, and flow of all 4 buildings side by side on the angle. Daytime hours, the glass is bright and reflective. When dark, it is clear and transparent. You see directly in that space. You will then notice the floors 4 through 12 of the parking garage for the building. It was built between 2005 and 2009. As we near Wabash here to our right, the steel and glass Miesian and modernist black box was in fact designed by one of the fathers of modern and international architecture, Ludwig Mies van der Rohe, whose very famous motto was less is more, like the strip buildings down to the bare minimal. Originally, one IBM Plaza, now the American Medical Association Plaza. Mies came to Chicago from Germany back in the late 30s and became head of architecture at IIT. He designed the Seagram building in New York City, Toronto Dominion Center in Toronto, and Lafayette Park in Detroit. As we near State Street coming up to our right, commonly referred to as being the Twin Corncom Towers, in reality we're going to have Marina City. Built between 1960 to 64 and designed by architect Bertrand Goldberg, who in fact went to Germany to study under Mies van der Rohe at a school called the Bauhaus. So in this area we're going to have teacher and student side by side. The bottom 18 floors of both buildings are parking, the upper portion are condominiums. You'll notice how the balconies can remind you of the petal on a flower. 16 petals per floor. The former office building in the background is now a hotel. The former theater is now the House of Blues. Small shops and restaurants on site, a marina at the base. Virtually a city within a city, an introvert's paradise. A movie came out back in 1980 called The Hunter, starring Steve McQueen. There was a car chase at the park, remember this West Tower. There was a car shot off into the river. They stunt for that movie. That stunt was reenacted like a dozen years ago for an Allstate commercial. So one thing I do want you all to do is use your eyes. Even if you tune me out, use your eyes. See what you like, see what you don't like, see what flows and see what doesn't work. See what I see. Sometimes I like gaps and spaces. Notice that the space here to our right is being framed and hemmed in by the textures on those 3 buildings. Dark tinted bay windows, Western Chicago River North 87. In the background, the flat reflective glass with the horizontal banding from 2009. And here to our right, vertical stainless steel mullions on 321 North Clark Street, 1988, Skidmore, Owings & Merrill. Now, 3.5 years ago, the base here to our right was continuous. 2 years ago, they finished building out 30,000 square feet of restaurant space on 4 different levels. As we clear Clark here to our right, this beautiful red brick and terracotta-clad structure running horizontally on the river here, the Prairie School design. The Reed Murdoch Warehouse building from 1914 by architect George C. Nimitz. Near the clock tower top center that was designed to hide the water tank. Plus back in 1914, not everyone had a watch and had clock towers scattered throughout. When built, perfectly symmetrical. Now notice the left-hand side of the western half is 1 bay shorter than the right. And that is because when they built this bridge across the river back in 1928 and widened the roadway, they demolished the westernmost bay and reclad what was left to look like it originally did. For many years, I was home to the city's traffic court. I'm certainly proud to say that I familiarized myself with the inside. Rising up 785 feet, the modern, glassy, shiny, and reflective 300 North LaSalle. designed by Picard Chilton Architects out of New Haven, Connecticut, clad with an abundance of stainless steel. A very nice two-level riverfront. The steakhouse is yummy. Now, in this area, I like the contrast between 2009 modern and the older building next door.